coverage you can count on. This is WAAY 31 News Mornings.
Well, good Saturday morning, North Alabama. Today is yet another 31 alert day for that heat. I'll tell you how long it's sticking around coming up.
And we're taking a look at how this extreme heat is impacting shelters trying to help those in need. Plus, new information on one of former President Donald Trump's allies who hasn't been released from the Fulton County Jail yet. Good morning and thank you for joining us. It is Saturday, August 26th. I'm Georgia Clark and we are facing yet another hot day for the fourth 31 alert day this week. Now let's check straight in with Storm Tracker meteorologist Amber Kulick. Amber, when are we finally going to get some relief from this heat?
Well, I'm glad you asked because as we head into tomorrow, we will start to see a little relief from all the heat that we've been dealing with over the past couple of days. But for the rest of the day today, we are under that 31 alert day for highs in the upper 90s and heat index values as high as 110 once again. But like I said, relief is in sight as we head into tomorrow. Heat advisory for the entire North Alabama region that runs until 7 p.m. tonight. This actually replaced that excessive heat warning that we had yesterday. So take it for what it is. At least it's a little cooler today than what we dealt with yesterday, but it's still going to be brutal if you do have to be outdoors. Good morning, Decatur. Nice sunrise this morning, 73 degrees there, so a little cooler than what we started off over the past couple of days as well. But this afternoon, we are right back up into those upper 90s for highs. Current temperatures across all of North Alabama in those low to middle 70s. So if you are headed out the door to grab breakfast or even that coffee this morning, it's pretty comfortable for now. We do have some areas of patchy fog though, so take it slow on those roadways. Now, as far as that iced coffee cast today, your eyes are not playing tricks on you. 98 again for our afternoon high. Reach for the medium iced coffee today, but I will tell you when we're going to see those 80s again coming up.
Thanks, Amber. With this extreme heat, many homeless people are scrambling to find protection. Workers at the Downtown Rescue Mission say they have their hands full trying to help everyone coming into their shelters, not just to cool off, but to also have a meal. Leaders there say that right now they're seeing around 100 men and nearly 45 women daily.
So we're in a weird spot because with Huntsville growing as big as it is, there's a lot of the surrounding communities looking towards Huntsville as a place to get assistance. And so it's a weird combination of the weather's kind of brutal right now, coupled with people are leaving their towns to come to Huntsville to find whatever the assistance is. And so I think that coupled together, we're starting to see a rise of individuals coming to stay with us.
Now, the director of the emergency services also says the organization is handing out around 300 meals a day right now, along with different programs and services. She says they are in need of donations as the shelter sees an influx of people in this heat. Now, we have a link where you can donate on our website, waaytv.com. And several organizations across North Alabama are opening their doors right now as cooling centers. We have a growing list which can also be found on our website. Now, you can help keep track of today's extreme weather by downloading our WAAY 31 Storm Tracker weather app. With that, you'll have received alerts anytime and a warning issued for your area. It is free for Apple and Android devices. Now, happening now, Madison police are looking for a man they say robbed a bank. The incident happened at the PNC Bank off of Sullivan Street right at around 4:49 yesterday afternoon. Investigators say the man told a teller he had a gun and passed her a note demanding money, which she gave him. Investigators say the man is between 5'3" and 5'5". He's expected to be wearing a blue and white wash shirt, blue jeans, black shoes, and glasses. Madison County Sheriff's Office investigators are working this morning to learn why a group of students disrupted a football game. Madison County school leaders decided to clear the stadium and suspend the game between Hazel Green and Sparkman last night. Investigators say a large group of students began running and causing disruptions twice near the south end of the stadium. Now, Jackson County investigators are saying they are working to find a person who killed a man, wrapped his body in plastic and left it near Lake Gunnersville. Sheriff Rocky Harnan identified 25-year-old Jamari Moore as the victim of that murder yesterday. Moore's body was discovered by a fisherman near the South Saudi Creek boat ramp last Friday. Sheriff Harnan says he believes the murder is an isolated incident.
Well, I don't think the community has anything to be fearful of. We believe this is a one-time incident. I don't want to get too much into the details of what we know right now, but I don't think the community has anything to fear as far as this being random attacks.
Now you're asked to call the sheriff's office if you know anything about this death, and Moore's family says they have set up a GoFundMe to pay for funeral arrangements. Now, new details, former President Donald Trump's team is capitalizing on his now viral mugshot out of Fulton County, Georgia, where he surrendered on racketeering charges. ABC's M. Nguyen goes over the details following that historic surrender.
Former President Donald Trump and each of his 18 alleged co-conspirators all meeting the Friday deadline to turn themselves in at the Fulton County Jail in Georgia. Fingerprinted, photographed, and assigned inmate numbers, all released on bond except Harrison Floyd. In the DA's indictment, Floyd is accused of helping strong-arm an election worker. A judge denied him bond Friday afternoon, citing his risk to commit additional felonies, adding he could be a flight risk. Trump and his co-defendants accused of forming what prosecutors call a criminal organization in an attempt to overturn the 2020 presidential election results in Georgia. It's the fourth indictment for the former president, Trump slamming the 13 criminal counts as election interference.
When you have that great freedom to challenge, you have to be able to, otherwise you're going to have very dishonest elections. What has taken place here is a travesty of justice. We did nothing wrong.
The ex-president sharing his booking photo on Twitter, now called X. His campaign website featuring his mugshot as well, asking for donations. President Joe Biden poking fun at his predecessor's mugshot when asked about it by reporters.
I did see it on television.
What do you think?
Handsome guy.
With the campaign for 2024 in full swing, some of Trump's Republican rivals hoping to turn the discussion to anything else.
If the election ends up being about what happened in the past, if it ends up being about, personalities and other things like that, well, then Biden is going to be able to sit in his basement again, not have to justify his record.
It's a tremendous distraction from what the average person and the average household is facing.
A hearing will be held Monday concerning the request by Trump's former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, to move his Georgia racketeering case to federal court. At least 3 other defendants are trying to do the same. M. Nguyen, ABC News, Atlanta.
Georgia's RICO case is not the only indictment the former president faces. His first criminal indictment came down in late March and is over hush money payments he's accused of making to an adult film star. Trump has also faced indictments over his handling of classified documents and a federal election interference case.
Well, the time now is 6:07 on this Saturday morning. Here's the look from Muscle Shoals. Good morning to you. 77 degrees this morning. You can see a little bit of fog off in the distance. Some of us are dealing with that patchy fog this morning. So if you are headed out to grab breakfast, take it a little slow on those roadways. Here's visibility. Now, the brighter the colors and the lower the numbers means that's where we're dealing with the fog this morning. Not all of us are seeing it, but it is dense across some of North Alabama and southern Tennessee. So again, just keep that in mind if you're headed out the door. We do have a heat advisory for the entire North Alabama region. That runs until 7 p.m. tonight. Now, the good news is we don't have that excessive heat warning anymore, but it is still going to be very warm as we move through the rest of the day today. So make sure you're drinking your water, you're staying hydrated, and of course, taking it easy outside. 31 triple Doppler, quiet and dry this morning. And that's what we're expecting, at least for the first part of the day. But as we head into the later evening hours tonight, we could start to see a couple of showers and thunderstorms. Some of them could be on the stronger side. And here's today's high. Once again, 98 degrees. That's why we have that 31 alert day in place for that heat. But I will tell you when we're going to see a little relief from that heat and give you an update on what we're watching in the tropics coming up.
New details this morning on the lawsuit one Hawaii electric company faces following the deadly wildfires on Maui. And hear from one man who helped fight those fires, as he says many in his department are struggling mentally.
Hey there, good morning to you. Coming up here on GMA, the terrifying moment overnight when a mass shooting broke out at an Oklahoma high school football game. All of it caught on live stream. The incident leaving 4 shot, what we are learning this morning. Also here, bright hopes for Bronny James, expected to make a full recovery and return to the basketball court after that health scare during practice last month. This morning, his family revealing his congenital heart condition and the treatment the USC basketball star will receive. And housing market rollout, the new loan program one major real estate marketplace is now offering would-be home buyers. This as mortgage rates, they are climbing. What experts want you to know. It's an important story, and it's all ahead right here on GMA.
New details: a new interim EMA chief will begin helping victims recover from the deadly wildfires in Maui. Maui leaders say the decision will help people recover from the wildfire faster. The last EMA chief retired last week after he defended his decision to not use Maui's warning sirens for the fire. The new chief will start on Monday. And rescue crews are out searching for nearly 400 people who still remain missing this morning. Maui leaders releasing the names of those on the left on the list this week. Jen Sullivan speaks to family members and Maui leaders who are holding out hope for those victims.
As first responders sift through what remains in western Maui, families are searching through this list of those still missing from the catastrophic wildfires earlier this month.
I know that everyone says to hold out hope, but there's a part of you that just knows.
A list of 388 names of people still unaccounted for was released Thursday.
Once those names come out, it can and will cause pain for some folks that are affected by this.
At least 115 people perished in the flames that tore through the island earlier this month. The wildfires in Maui are the deadliest U.S. wildfire in over 100 years. Moody's Analytics estimates the fire caused up to $6 billion in damage. For some, no amount of money, though, can replace what they lost.
I know the hurt. I know the deep void we all feel because losing Lahaina, losing our family members, is something so personal.
As families grapple with grief, many now asking how something so devastating could have happened and what could have been done differently to limit the widespread damage. Maui County filed a lawsuit Thursday against Hawaiian Electric Company and its subsidiaries, claiming the utility company's negligence caused the devastating wildfires by not shutting down their power lines.
Hawaii Electric should have had a public safety power shutdown.
In a statement responding to the lawsuit, Hawaiian Electric says it remains focused on supporting the victims and that it's very disappointed the county chose this path while the investigation is still unfolding. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Hawaiian Electric says it believes some vital evidence in the investigation could be compromised. They say the fires likely destroyed them. And firefighters in Maui say they're struggling after those deadly fires, many of them saying they didn't think they'd survive. They also say just because they're no longer fighting the fires doesn't mean they don't have any calls to respond to. Ty Perdido says he's been relying on his family and fellow firefighters to get through this tough time.
Each day I wake up, each day I put the uniform on, and I try to just rely on not only myself, my faith, but my family for one, my wife, and these guys next to me who also put on the badge. They've been my rock for the department, and being able to get support from them when I feel I can't stand anymore has been what's kind of helped me get through each day.
He says 15 firefighters lost their homes in those fires. Now, you could be able to get a new COVID-19 vaccine in a few weeks. FDA leaders are expected to give approval to the newest vaccine soon. Members on a CDC board are also expected to give their final recommendation. And the new vaccines come as more health departments across the U.S. say they're seeing a surge in cases. And people with one type of heart failure could soon see new treatment. Doctors say the diabetes drug Wegovy can help people who preserved ejection fracture heart failure. Their study from the New England Journal of Medicine shows the drug helped with shortness of breath, fatigue, and swelling.
Now, WAAY 31 Storm Tracker meteorologist Amber Kuling with 31 Triple Doppler.
Now, Amber, I know y'all are so sick of covering this heat.
I know. There's only so many ways that you can say it different that y'all, it's going to be hot today.
Yeah,
so
be prepared.
One last day of this. We're finally going to see a break next week.
Thank goodness.
I'm excited. I know everyone else is excited too. So let's go ahead and jump into this forecast today. And this is what we're looking at across North Alabama on our SkyCam network. Gunnersville, I promise you're down there somewhere, but it's foggy across some of the area this morning. So something to keep in mind if you're headed out to grab breakfast on this Saturday. For the rest of us, though, we are starting the day off in those 70s again. And that sun on its way up indicator this morning, 73 degrees there, 75 in Huntsville. We're not going to stay in the 70s very long, though. We are going to continue to warm up as we head into the afternoon hours today. As far as visibility is concerned, though, like I said, where you see those brighter colors and those lower numbers, that's where we're seeing the most dense fog at this morning. So that covers up southern Morgan County into Coleman County and up into southern Tennessee as well. But for the rest of us, not too bad if you are headed out the door early on this Saturday morning. If you're going for a run, well, I would do that this morning as opposed to this afternoon because it is going to be very warm once again. Current temperatures, though, we're in those middle 70s for a majority of North Alabama. Like I said before, the 70s, they're not going to last very long. They will quickly turn into the 80s and the 90s again, which is why we have the 31 alert day for this afternoon. We can see highs in those upper 90s and heat index values as high as 110 today. And after today, though, we will start to see a little bit of relief. Now, the excessive heat warning that we had yesterday has been replaced with a heat advisory for all of North Alabama, and that runs until this evening. So at least a little bit of relief today from what we had to deal with over the past 2 days. But some good news for you as well. 31 triple Doppler is quiet and dry this morning. Now we could see a couple of showers, even a couple of thunderstorms as we head into the later evening hours tonight. Some of those could be on the stronger side. But if you are getting ready to walk the puppy this morning, things are looking good temperature-wise. We'll be right around 90 already by 10 a.m. And remember, it's going to feel even hotter on that asphalt. So keep that in mind if you are taking the pup for a walk this afternoon. Now, speaking of this afternoon, it will be hot once again. A few storms will be possible later into the evening hours tonight. Some of these could be on the spicier side with some gusty winds. So we'll keep an eye on that as we head into our Sunday. We'll start off quiet, but by Sunday evening, we're going to be watching for some more showers and thunderstorms. Some of these also could be on the stronger side, especially in the eastern half of the area tomorrow. So we'll keep an eye on that. Gusty winds will be the main threat with some of those storms as well. Here's your Storm Prediction Center outlook for tomorrow. That level 1 risk mainly for the eastern half of North Alabama. Now, if you're headed to the Trash Pandas game this evening, still going to be warm at first pitch, and even by the final out, we're still in those 80s. So please drink your water if you are headed out there. Now, I was talking about the tropics. We're going to keep an eye on this area as it heads into the Gulf of Mexico. Over the next 7 days, it has a 90% chance of developing into a tropical system. So if you have any plans along the Gulf Coast heading into next weekend, keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on it for our rain chances. All depends on where the track actually goes for that system. And until we have a center of circulation, we just won't know. So until then, enjoy these 80s that we're going to see next week because a cold front's moving through and it is going to give us a nice break from the heat that we've dealt with over the past week.
Why was I wondering whose dog that was that you showed? I was like, well, it is National Dog Day, so it's kind of perfect.
Not my dog, though, because I only have cats.
Well,
so.
hopefully people will keep their pets safe outside
Hopefully
today.
so.
Thanks, Amber. It's the weekend. We take a look at some fun events that you can go to next. Crews at the Von Braun Center in Huntsville are putting on the finishing touches on this year's Fall Home and Garden Show. The event is set to begin at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning at the VBC South Hall. This morning at the VBC South Hall, and will run through 5 o'clock Sunday night. The show is just one of many events on tap at the VBC. Here's the VBC's Samantha Nielsen.
It's a busy week at the Von Braun Center in downtown Huntsville. Hi, I'm Samantha Nielsen, Marketing Director at the VBC. Are you ready to start tackling your home projects? Then don't miss the Fall Home and Garden Show this weekend in the VBC South Hall. Attendees will meet over 130 home professionals at this one event. Whether you're building a house or just renovating a room or two, the Home and Garden Show can connect you with a local builder or a home professional who can help. And country comedian Rodney Carrington is bringing the laughs to Huntsville this Saturday in the Mark C. Smith Concert Hall. Wrestling fans will be excited to hear that WWE is returning to Huntsville and bringing their Super Show to the VBC Probst Arena this Sunday. The Association of Uncrewed Vehicle Systems International is hosting their 2023 conference at the VBC this weekend with over 80 exhibitors and 800 attendees. The theme is Clearing the Way for Autonomy. Attendees can interact with some of the leading uncrewed systems and engineering companies in the U.S., as well as watch demonstrations. Closing out the month of August, Switchfoot is bringing their 20th anniversary tour, The Beautiful Letdown, to the VBC Mars Music Hall this Thursday. Love hearing local music? You can see a local musician playing at the VBC's full-service restaurant and rooftop bar, Rhythm on Monroe, almost every night of the week. As you can tell, there's always something going on at the Von Braun Center. To see the full calendar of events, visit vonbrauncenter.com. For WAAY 31, I'm VBC Marketing Director Samantha Nielsen.
Coming up, we take a look at the launch for NASA and SpaceX Crew 7 mission, which is now headed towards the International Space Station.
coverage you can count on. This is WAAY 31 News Mornings.
Well, good Saturday morning. Today is yet another 31 alert day for that extreme heat. I'll tell you how long that's sticking around and when we'll see a little relief coming up.
And we take a look at some ways to avoid causing a fire as more heat alerts come down this morning. And what we're learning about 2 different police chases in the Shoals after police in one jurisdiction say they were led on a 110-mile-per-hour chase. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. It is Saturday, August 26th. I'm Georgia Clark, and we are facing yet another hot day for the 4th 31 alert day this week. Now let's check straight in with Storm Tracker meteorologist Amber Kulick. Amber, when are we going to get some relief from this heat?
Well, the good news is today is the last of those 31 alert days. So tomorrow, although we'll still be in those 90s, it's going to feel a little cooler than what we've dealt with over the past couple of days. But for the rest of your Saturday, highs in those upper 90s once again. Heat index values as high as 110. So if you are planning to be outdoors today, I know it's the first day of the weekend, make sure you're drinking that water and you're taking care of yourself. We do have a heat advisory for all of North Alabama, and that runs until 7 p.m. tonight. So again, even though if we got rid of those excessive heat warnings, it is still going to be hot today. So drink your water, stay hydrated, take breaks outdoors if you need to. Here's a look at the Space and Rocket Center this morning. 75 degrees in Huntsville, and that sun on the way up this morning as well. Weather on the go, I promise. Gunnersville is back there somewhere. As we head into the next few hours, we're going to be in those 80s before noon. And by noon, we're already in those lower 90s, headed towards the upper 90s for afternoon highs today. We do have a low chance of a shower or even a thunderstorm or two as we head into the evening hours tonight. So if you're headed to the Trash Pandas game, something to keep in mind there. But again, we'll see a little relief as we head into tomorrow, especially next week as a cold front rolls through. So I'll have those details for you coming up later on.
Thanks, Amber. This extreme heat has firefighters across North Alabama reminding people to be careful not to start fires while keeping cool. They say overloading power cords can cause a fire in this heat, so pay attention to how many electronics or fans you're plugging in. And because it's so dry outside, they want you to hold off on any bonfires. Doing your part will help keep these fire crews safe in the extreme heat.
It's rough. I mean, we know house fire could be anywhere from 600 to 1,000 degrees, and on top of it, it's already hot outside, so we're sweating when we get in the truck. But we just got to remember to stay hydrated and get enough rest when we can, and keep ourselves in good physical condition because they count on us in there, and we've got to make sure that we can handle it. So.
Firefighters say most of their calls right now are for heat-related illnesses. Now, several organizations across North Alabama are opening their doors right now as cooling centers. We have a growing list, which can also be found on our website. Now, right now, millions of Americans are bracing for more extreme heat as more heat warnings go out across the nation. People in Chicago saw the heat index there go as high as 120 degrees this week, which set a new record. Meanwhile, crews in Louisiana are scrambling to help those forced to evacuate after a wildfire broke out. Now, new this morning, Russellville police say a man is in custody after he led officers on a high-speed chase with a stolen car. Caleb Robinson faces charges for receiving stolen property and trying to elude law enforcement. Russellville police say they chased Robinson at speeds as high as 110 miles per hour yesterday. Officers say they chased him to Moulton, where he eventually wrecked, and Franklin County deputies and Moulton police also helped with that chase. Now, 2 people are recovering in the hospital after Florence police say they led officers on another chase. The chase started yesterday afternoon off Mall Road following a traffic infraction. Police say the driver of the SUV lost control and hit a tree. He was flown to a hospital, and police say the woman was taken to the North Alabama Medical Center by ambulance. And 1 person is recovering in Huntsville Hospital after police say they were shot. Huntsville police say that person has non-life-threatening injuries following a shooting on Newsom Road yesterday at around 4 o'clock. They have not said if any arrests have been made in the case at this time. Now, happening today, Huntsville police will be doing traffic safety checkpoints across the city. Those checkpoints will last through this weekend, and they say the checkpoints are to help people to keep people from driving while impaired. We have a list of all the checkpoints on our website, WAAYTV.com. And Huntsville City Council members are working to decide if water rates will increase. Huntsville Utilities President Wes Kelly shared the company's finances at Thursday night's council meeting. He says their water tanks are strained due to the rapid growth in the city, and he thinks a rate increase of 35% would help workers put down more pipes. A vote is expected on September 7th. And Tennessee Valley Authority is raising energy rates by around 4.5%. When you break it down, that's around $3.50 on average. TVA leaders say the increase will allow them to develop new ways to generate electricity, and they say their rates are still some of the lowest in the country. Now, the Distinguished Young Women of North Central Alabama is hosting its regional competition today, and I got a chance to speak with some of the young women who will be giving up their titles tonight. Now, we talked about what the competition has done for them and their excitement for the next group of girls ready to compete. Just be yourself, a motto that many of these young women hold after competing in Distinguished Young Women of North Central Alabama. Limestone County Representative Christina Jones says during her time at the local and state levels, she has made some lifelong friends.
I've met so many amazing friends. I visited some this past summer. I keep up with all of them. They're some of my biggest cheerleaders. I know the other two girls a part of this Tri-County program can attest to that.
Contestants compete in scholastics, interview, talent, self-expression, and fitness. Jones learned how to play the harp just for this competition. And Lawrence County Representative Olivia Newman says not to let the areas of competition scare you away from participating.
You know, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have stepped out there. And I've had a few girls who would have been competing with me at our local level say, I wish I would have done it. I see the experience that you had, and I wish I would have done it. And it's just, you can never go wrong. You can never go wrong unless you don't try.
DYW is one of the largest scholarship programs for young women in the nation. And since its founding in 1958, it has awarded $118 million in scholarships. Newman has been able to have much of her tuition for the University of South Alabama covered thanks to DYW.
You know, college can be so expensive, and a lot of people don't have access to education. And I think I'm just so grateful for them funds that they've provided for me.
DYW is a nonprofit and relies on local sponsors to keep the program going and their ability to award scholarships. Since COVID, many of the local programs in Alabama have had to stop their competitions, so many local sponsors are hoping donors will return now that the pandemic is over. Now, the event is set to take place at 5 tonight over at Athens Middle School. Event organizers say everyone is encouraged to attend the event and cheer on the young women competing tonight. Now, happening today, the city of Fyfie will be full of UFO and X-File enthusiasts for its 18th annual UFO Days. The event will run from 9 this morning until 10 tonight at the Fyfie Town Park. The event commemorates a 1989 UFO in the city, which caused it to gain attention. There will be live music, vendors, and their own form of UFO hot air balloons at the event. Now, one local group needs your help to help kids learn and read. The Huntsville Dream Center is looking for volunteers for a new program it's launching next month at Sonny Hereford Elementary School. Organizers hope that the program, called Sunny Side Up, will help improve students' reading test scores. And if you'd like to volunteer, we have a link on our website, WAAYTV.com, where you can register. And happening now, 4 astronauts are making their way to the International Space Station this morning following a successful launch. Now, SpaceX launched Crew 7 astronauts on board a Dragon spacecraft from Kennedy Space Center, and they are expected to dock at the ISS tomorrow morning around 7:39.
Well, your time now is 6:39 here in Muscle Shoals, and it is 75 degrees already this morning. So make sure that you are drinking your water today because it is going to be yet another hot one. And you can see a little bit of fog off in the distance. Some of us are dealing with the fog this morning. The rest of us, though, looking pretty good for your Saturday morning. Here's a look at visibility, and like I said, where you see those brighter colors and those lower numbers, That's where we're dealing with the fog this morning, very dense in some of the area. So if you're headed out to grab breakfast on this Saturday, keep that in mind. Use those low beam headlights. It makes it a whole lot easier to see. We do have a heat advisory in effect until 7 p.m. Covers up the entire North Alabama region. And that means it's once again going to be hot this afternoon. Drink that water, stay hydrated, take your breaks if you're going to be outside today. But we will start to see a little relief from this heat as we head into tomorrow. 31 triple Doppler, quiet and dry this morning. May see a couple of showers and thunderstorms this evening. So if you're headed out to the Trash Pandas game, make sure to grab that umbrella and take it with you. Your iced coffee cast today, if you are reaching for that iced coffee, you can go ahead and grab the medium for your Saturday, but check out that temperature, 98 degrees once again. But like I said before, I am tracking a little relief, and I'll have those details for you coming up.
Thanks, Amber. Coming up, we're taking a look at how new name, image, and likeness rules will impact college athletes. Name, image, and likeness, otherwise known as NIL, is a benefit college athletes can now take advantage of. WAAY 31's Xavier WAAY took some time to dig into how those rules impact college athletes. Now, some college coaches say they're handling those rules.
Stride in the middle of the field, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown.
Since the inception of college sports, college athletes have played their sport, and the reality was legally they could not be paid while doing so. In July of 2021, that all changed. The Division I Board of Directors approved an interim name change and likeness policy allowing NCAA Division I, D2, and D3 student athletes to be paid. But what does that look like? Well, student athletes can now be paid for things like their autograph, making personal appearances, or promoting products and services. A new financial benefit that wasn't around for current UNA football wide receiver coach and former Oregon Ducks standout Sammy Parker, who had a billboard of him in Eugene, Oregon and Los Angeles when he played football back in the early 2000s.
The amount of exposure that we gained from that, I think was great, but I could have benefited possibly from local businesses from my hometown, being from California, and then also in Eugene as well.
Parker didn't endure much financial turmoil at Oregon, but had a few times where it got rough.
Lights was cut off one time, I remember, and it was only for a couple of days, but that struggle was, it was a struggle there at times.
The hope is NILs not only prevent those rough times from occurring for student athletes, but also give them an opportunity to get more involved in their community. At least that's the case for UNA's quarterback Noah Walters, whose first NIL deal came from a clothing store back home in Lincoln, Nebraska.
It makes me feel blessed, It's not all about athletically how well you perform, but it's like how much you support your community, As much as I've learned, as much as you put in, you'll get something in return.
Walter says a key part in having NIL success is controlling what you can control and not always pursuing what's hot at the moment.
Don't really go out there and try to get the big names, the Nike, the Adidas, or all that stuff. Just sit there and shake hands with business people. You go into a restaurant you really enjoy, ask for the manager, talk to them, shake their hand. It goes a long way when you're nice to people and you show your support for their company.
And if you're an athlete looking to secure an NIL deal, Coach Parker says pursue the opportunity for the right reason and not just the money.
But make sure you're not chasing the money, you're chasing, whatever situation that you want to be in, whether it's, the development, the degree, whatever that part is, right? Because you can go to a place where you're going to get, the maximum dollar, but is that, where you want to be? Is that going to help you get to your end goal? What is your end goal?
Xavier WAAY, WAAY 31 News.
Now, WAAY 31 Storm Tracker meteorologist Amber Kuling with 31 triple Doppler.
So Amber, we were just talking about the sky cams, and I noted the giant sun that we've got going on here, and the fact that when you go to Gunnersville in a second, we're not going to be able to see it.
No, some of us are dealing with a little bit of fog
Yeah,
this morning.
like
So if you are headed out to grab breakfast, take it a little slow on those roadways. Here's a look at those sky cams on our Skycam network. Yep, Gunnersville, I promise, back there somewhere. Muscle Shoals, 75 degrees, a little fog off in the distance there, but Decatur and Huntsville looking pretty good this morning as you get ready to head out the door on this Saturday. Maybe you are going out to grab breakfast. Well, if you're in Gunnersville, take it a little slow. Use those low beam lights because it'll make it easier to see in that fog this morning. For the rest of us, though, seeing that sunshine, we're in those 70s already, and it's only up from here for the rest of the day. Visibility across North Alabama starting to fall a little bit in the shoals this morning as well. The lower the numbers and the brighter the colors is where we're dealing with that dense fog this morning. So again, you're headed out the door, maybe you're headed out for that morning run, keep that in mind. Current temperatures across North Alabama in the 70s, a little warmer here in Huntsville where it's 77, it's 73 in Decatur, 72 in Coleman. Gunnersville, you're coming in at 73 degrees. We're not going to stay in the 70s very long. We are headed towards the 90s, which is why we have our fourth 31 alert day. Good news is, though, today's the last of the 31 alert days, but highs today once again in those upper 90s, and heat index values as high as 110. That is what it's going to feel like to your body when you step outside this afternoon. Drink that water, stay hydrated, and take breaks if you're going to be doing any outdoor activities today. We have a heat advisory in effect for all of North Alabama and southern Tennessee, and that runs until 7 p.m. tonight. Now, this is not the excessive heat warning we saw over the past couple of days, but it is still going to be hot this afternoon. 31 triple Doppler, quiet and dry this morning. We may see a couple of showers and a couple of thunderstorms will be possible as we head into the later evening and into those early overnight hours tonight. But this morning, if you are taking that dog for a walk, it is National Dog Day, by the way. So maybe you want to treat your pup to that walk. Looking good, but we're already approaching 90 by 10 a.m. So that can only mean one thing. It's going to feel a lot hotter to the pup's paws, so keep that in mind. For the rest of the afternoon hours, it's going to be hot. And like I said, we could see a couple of showers showers and thunderstorms later this evening into the early overnight. Some of these could be on the spicier side with some gusty winds, so make sure that you are aware of that. We'll get a break tomorrow morning, but then as we head into Sunday evening, that's when we'll watch for some more showers and thunderstorms. Some of these could also be on the stronger side, so we'll keep an eye on that as we roll through the rest of the weekend. If you're headed to the Trash Pandas game this evening, at first pitch, we're still at 90 degrees, 81 by the final out, so still warm and humid, and we will have to watch for a few of those showers and thunderstorms as we head into the later evening hours. As we move into next week, all eyes are on the tropics. This area has about a 90% chance of developing into something as we move into the next 7 days. That's going to take it into the Gulf of Mexico. So if you have plans next weekend along the coast, anywhere from Pensacola all the way through Florida, all the way down through Tampa, make sure that you're paying attention to the forecast. Now, until we get that center of circulation, we're not going to get the cone, so we're not really going to know where this thing could go until then. So just keep an eye on it, and of course, wherever it goes, that is going to depend on if we see rain or not. So right now, we have rain chances for both Sunday and Monday as that cold front rolls through here, and that is going to give us some 80s, so finally a break from this heat. And next week, like I said, rain chances will depend on where this tropical system ends up tracking. If it tracks more into Florida, then we're not going to see any rain from it. So forecast is fun.
Well, I'm looking forward to those 80s and lows in the 60s. That's going to be great.
I know.
It'll
I'm
feel like
excited.
fall in the morning. Thanks, Amber. Coming up, it's the weekend, and we're taking a look at some fun events you can take your family to. A lot of fun events are on tap this last weekend in August. Haley Loveday of RocketCityMom.com is here with a rundown of all of them.
I'm Haley Loveday with Rocket City Mom, and I'm here to let you know about some of our favorite family-friendly events happening in our area this weekend. Today at 10 a.m., guests of all ages will enjoy sharing in the magic of safely releasing live butterflies into the Purdy Butterfly House at the Huntsville Botanical Gardens. The program begins with a brief presentation about butterflies and their habitat, followed by taking part in the safe restoration of the indoor butterfly population. Don't forget your camera. Registration is required and space is limited, so be sure to reserve your spot today. The National Black Market is partnering with 5 Points Block Festival to bring the Nashville Black Market to Huntsville. Join for interactive installations, live music, DJs, special guest hosts, and more as you celebrate the 50-year anniversary of hip-hop. Come and join over 70 Black-owned businesses with food trucks, games, and more. The festival is from 1 to 8 p.m. tonight at Bud Kramer Park and is free for the whole family. Tomorrow, Rocket City Mom wants you to join us at the Orion Amphitheater from 1 to 6 p.m. for Learning Expo 2023. This is a free event that will include vendors providing information about schools, camps, tutors, athletics, homeschooling, and so much more. We will have bounce houses, live theater and dance performances, and food trucks to add to the fun. All net proceeds will be contributed to Heels Inc. We'd love to see you there. For a look at more events in our area, check out RocketCityMom.com. For WAAY 31 News, I'm Haley Loveday.
Happening today, it's National Dog Day, and the day is meant to address how many dogs are in need of homes and how many people put their lives on the line like canine and rescue dogs. You have a chance to give a dog a new home today, and Huntsville Animal Shelter says it's cutting adoption fees through the rest of August.
Well, if you were taking your little doggy for a walk today, it's going to be another hot one.
I know.
At least this is the last day of the heat. So if you are headed out the door this morning, 97 for your high again today. And we do have that 31 alert day in place for today, but relief's in sight as we head into next week.
Thank goodness. Well, WAAY 31 gives you coverage you can count on 24/7, and we will see you back here